Today, my friends, we are talking about the amazing new A7V and kind of comparing it to the A7IV here, giving you my first real-world first impressions after a few weeks of use. So we did get this camera dropped in mid-December, and here in Canada, that's not ideal because the weather sucks. It's been raining pretty much every day, so anytime I could, I got out and I shot what I could with it. But we haven't been able to get out and get some, award-winning stuff. That's really what we're looking for. So today I'm just talking about the photography aspect of things. That's what I love. That's who I am, a photographer first and foremost. It's very capable for video, but all the nitpicky stuff for video, go watch somebody else who loves and wants to talk about everything video. So just talking about the main differences and whether or not this is a big upgrade between the 4 and the 5 is kind of what I wanted to cover today. Let's talk about just first, if you're just looking at pictures side by side, and I'll throw a few up here of some shots that I've taken to date, are you going to notice a huge difference in image quality between the two? And the answer is no, not really. That's because they're about the same resolution, around 33 megapixels. The A7V has a much faster readout. It's a partially stacked sensor now, meaning there's more calculations going on in the background. You're going to get better and more reliable and faster autofocus. So the reliability definitely is going to be improved, but image quality is going to be very, very similar. It does have higher dynamic range, a couple stops at best, and if you are shooting an electronic shutter, it's not going to be quite as good. So stick to mechanical if the dynamic range is going to be something that you're going to need to max out on. But overall, the image quality, same fantastic image quality that we have in the A7IV. Yeah, very comparable. I think the colors and the color science for me is a bit better. It's more pleasing. It's not 100%, but for me, I'm somebody who goes and edits stuff in post anyways. So the color science right out of camera has never really been a concern for me. So next, let's talk about the autofocus. This is the big one because obviously the 10 frames per second in the A7IV, it didn't blow anybody away. And now in the A7V, we have blackout free 30 frames per second shooting with electronic shutter, which is bananas. It's very fast. Which is just fantastic if you're somebody like me who loves to shoot wildlife, sports, nature, anything that's moving fast, obviously. And it does an extremely good job. But do not expect, A1 Mark II speed, reliability, quality of autofocus, because you're just not going to get it. Is it a big improvement over the A7IV? Absolutely. It is a massive improvement. Just the tracking alone is just much, much more reliable, we'll call it. It's just better. It feels like a much more advanced camera. So if autofocus is a big thing for you, that shooting speed is a thing for you, this is going to be a massive upgrade. Just keep that in mind. The autofocus is not comparable. It's something like 4.5 times faster readout speed than the A7IV. So yeah, very, very impressive when it comes to autofocus. And I really wanted to kind of focus on that in this video, just to show you the reliability, but also talk about pre-capture, because for me, I didn't think we were going to get that in this camera. And I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. If you're shooting birds or little things or, even people, even sports or birthday parties where you're trying to get that perfect expression, you might know that a 1/10 of a second is going to be the difference between basically a mediocre shot and an award-winning shot. And pre-capture amazingly allows you to go back in time and capture what you didn't. If you don't know what pre-capture is, what you're doing is you're basically holding down the shutter halfway, so it's going to start to calculate its autofocus and nail that subject. And then by the time you press it down, when you have pre-capture enabled, it's going to go back in time and actually give you up to a second or 30 frames worth of shots. So pretty cool story. My very first experience with pre-capture, I was on a ferry and there were actually some whales way off in the distance. They were really small, but I threw on pre-capture and just kind of spray and prayed and hoped that I captured something. And it turns out I actually caught an orca jumping. So my very first pre-capture experience, I got a jumping whale. How freaking awesome is that? For wildlife, again, for sports or getting an expression from somebody or a baby or something, that is absolutely incredible. And I wanted to dive in and look at some of the photos and some of the examples. Is it perfect? No. but it's a heck of a lot more capable and impressive than the A7IV, I'll tell you that much. So having said that, let's dive in and look at some of the examples here that I was able to catch. And mind you, this is very, very low light because it is winter. I can't wait to see what this thing's capable of in the summer. So let's have a look. So here we are in Lightroom, a little bit of behind the scenes stuff where you can see my settings used and whatnot for some different subjects. Definitely some user error here as well. Shooting this little guy, incredibly fast bird at 1/1000th of a second, which was way too slow. But yeah, just to show you the tracking here, definitely some motion blur. But it didn't quite keep up. If you notice on the branch here, it kept the focus on the branch. So definitely a missed opportunity, but this is also ISO 5000. So a really difficult, very low light situation as well. A little bit of me missing the settings and the bird just being probably a bit too quick. Here's another example, trying to get some action here from my chickens. Again, 1/1000th, but a bigger subject, so should be reasonably okay. ISO 4000, pretty high. And we'll just kind of go through here and see where it lost it. I had the bird autofocus tracking here. It nailed the eye pretty confidently, but unfortunately it was a little bit into this guy's jump where it kind of missed the marks a little bit. It did stay here on the branch or the feet and didn't quite track it going forward here. So again, this is probably the most difficult thing you can do to a camera, having a fast moving subject coming right at the camera. And in this case, it just kind of missed. So again, it's not perfect. It's not an A1 Mark II or something where it's got a lot more capabilities, a lot more calculations per second going on in the background. But for the most part, for the majority of the kind of setups that I did do, I'll show you here, it did actually do a pretty darn good job despite a lot of these really difficult situations, including the very low light, which is going to affect it as well. Here again, I've shot at about 1/800th of a second, which is a little bit slow for this type of action. But for me, it does keep up pretty good here. Make sure you let me know your thoughts as well about this camera and specifically the autofocus down in the comments. And finally, we got some good light. How does it do in the direct sun here? We're shooting at 1/3200th of a second at ISO 800. And let's have a look. As you can see, it absolutely nails it. This is with pre-capture on, taking our time with these little birds. And this is as difficult as it's going to get for this camera. These things are so incredibly fast. And for me, it does a fantastic job. So I don't know what else you could want. Any other subject is going to be pretty much easier to shoot than these little guys. And there you go, in some good light. And here we are in some decent light on the swing. I'm shooting at 1/5000th of a second now, ISO 640. Just wanted to see how well it would track the eye and some movement. And I have to say, it does a fantastic job. Very, very sticky on the eye here. Lightroom being a little bit slow, but yeah, as you can see, just a fantastic job despite the hair in the way as well as the swing actually moving. So yeah, in terms of bigger subjects, not a problem. This thing is going to be absolutely killer. If you happen to be somebody like me that shoots in a lot of really high ISO situations and wants the best out of your images, check out Topaz Labs Studio software. This is where you can easily denoise, sharpen, upscale, and pretty much everything you want to be able to do with an image in basically 2 seconds. It's a drag and drop program to get results just like this. Check out my full in-depth review on Topaz Labs for more. So other than autofocus and image quality, the thing that I really like about this camera is the body. Like the feel of it is more substantial, and it's just got pretty much everything you could really want. And we really say that with every camera release because they're just pushing the envelope over and over and over, but it just feels so complete. The grip is bigger, it's better. It's got every customizable button that you could ever want. Like, and then some. And by the way, if you are setting up your A7V and you want to see a quick video of my custom buttons and my function screen, I will drop that here for you as well. But yeah, the flippy screen, the screen now that is a tilt flippy screen that we see on some of the higher stuff for photographers, you know, It's great. It's just perfect. I love everything about how it feels. It just feels intuitive and natural. I'm not worried about, you know, getting water or dust around it. They've done a really good job in that regard. So yeah, body absolutely solid. What else can I say? Image stabilization. It is noticeably better. When you're using Sony lenses and you're using dynamic and active stabilization, it's just very, very good, like insanely good. If you are, again, using video and whatnot, now they're cropping in and using software plus your IBIS to just give you incredibly stable footage. So whether you're shooting video or photography, it's just fantastic. So overall, I wanted to give you my first impressions of this camera, mainly, you know, the performance, the image quality we talked a bit about, and of course the autofocus, the reliability, and the capability, which now you've kind of seen. So if you like this type of content, you like this video, hit that like and subscribe button, guys, to see more of it coming. Drop down anything that you want to see to do with this camera, or really any camera, in future videos down below. If you wanted to pick this camera up, if you're ready to pull the trigger, or any of my gear that I have, I'll drop that down in an affiliate link in the description. And thanks so much for watching, guys. Like always, make mistakes, be yourself, and get out there and take some more pictures. See you next time.